everybody, and welcome back once again to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity 2 with good old Fedoran and Eder with his green little bandana thing on. So in the last session we managed to rescue a couple of the crew of our ship, the Defiant, and they are now sat waiting for further instruction by this rather welcoming campfire. The time, it is, 1900 hours. It's getting on a bit, and it's quite tempted to put our feet up for the evening and perhaps look further afield in the morning. But before we do that, there is some further unexplored areas here on the beach that we'll just peruse before we hunker down for the night. Now before we do that, a couple of things. First of all, I've just been doing a little bit of reading in the old cyclopedia when it comes to some of the mechanics and stuff, and I noticed something rather interestingly which I haven't verified yet, but perhaps you can before I find out for myself. If we look at the character statistics and we look at the effects. Stacking. So in the last game, if we equipped say 2 items, there would be a suppression. So if you had a headpiece that had say dexterity 3 and you had a leg piece that had dexterity 1, the higher dexterity, being the 3, would be the active dexterity bonus applied, and the 1 would be suppressed. You wouldn't get a stacked bonus of say 4 for the 2 pieces. Reading this, it seems that that might not be the case in this game, because it classes passive bonuses as bonuses that come from equipped items such as weapons and shields, and the passive bonuses stack with each other. So that seems to indicate to me if I've got a headpiece that's dexterity 2 and a leg piece that's dexterity 3, I'll have dexterity 5 in total. Whereas any active bonuses from spells, potions, abilities, modal abilities, etc., those will be suppressed and it'll take the highest bonus. Thought that was quite interesting, so I'll have to try that out and see what happens there. But that could be quite a positive thing. And the second thing, before we move onwards, is we're in the Deadfire archipelago, and several people here are Valiant. The Valiant Trading Company has a strong presence here, and it's quite close to the old republics. And so Fedoran, when he gathers his party together and gets a few more members perhaps, might just give them some Valian lessons. A few words for them to learn, to allow them to understand what people might be saying, or to, help them even speak the lingo a little bit. Could come in handy. So what I'll be doing in the downtime in between moving around in the next few sessions is I shall be also giving you guys a Valian lesson so that you too can benefit. So you know what the hell Fedoran's talking about when he blurts out random words in his native tongue, which might just happen in this playthrough. Anyway, let's have a quick look around the rest of the beach. Oh yeah, I've also tweaked the formation, custom formation. Fedoran, of course, at the rear. He's a bit too close up front for his liking in that cave.
My flame burns yet.
And who might this be? We recognise him from on our ship when we first awoke.
Looks like
we've stumbled across an enemy. A young boar just seems to be wandering close to us. Okay, so before we speak with this chap, perhaps we'll deal with this little problem here.
Sure.
There we go. Let's get Eder on the case. with a knockdown, whilst Fedoran fires spells from a distance.
Hey.
Okay. So I have also read up on the injury and health system. It is slightly different from the first game. If you fall in battle, you get a wound. You can have up to 3 wounds, which means you can fall 3 times in battle between rests. If you fall a 4th time, you are dead permanently. Seems a lot easier to manage because you get 3 wounds. Well, it's a no-brainer that you're going to rest, isn't it? And you don't need to expend resources to rest in this game apparently either, so there should be really no excuse for losing a character permanently, as far as I can see it.
Yeah, no problem.
Is that ye?
Eld Engrim appears to be in sound condition, though his waxed jacket is soaked through. He appraises you with bleary-eyed amusement.
You woke just in time for the fun. Fighting off motherless raiders one moment, flung into the freezing depths of Ondra's bosom the next.
His eye twitches as he flashes a smile notable for its extraordinary absence of teeth.
Aye. Magran learns us poor bastards that a little excitement's good for the heart.
Well, it should take more than a few trials to break me, even if the gods do send them themselves.
Some others might think that blasphemy. But when Magran hears it, Captain, oh, she knows you're filled with a fire. There's nae getting the ship back underway without repairs. Yonder road inland seems the best chance of that. You want to be kicking some of the corpses before you go, see if some cry out. We need a crew if we're to set sail. I'll see you at the campfire, Captain. Magran's flame warms my soul, but these ailed bones need a touch of the real thing.
Yes, well, Arena and Beardle are waiting there, so make it. In fact, I'll escort you.
Good, good. We 3 will comb the strand. I'd wager the road yonder leads somewhere helpful. Roads mean people, people mean goods. I ween it's worth a try.
Okay, so we've leveled up right at the start of the session, which is unfortunate because I like to do these kind of things off camera, really.
Sure.
And especially with it being my first, just want to do a little bit of research before I start pumping points into things. Then again, I hear you can actually respec your characters at will here. Maybe for a slight cost, but if we make a slight boob, it shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I'll boil up some water. We'll have a spy at that leg of yours.
Should have seen me with that barrel, Engrim. I showed it who's boss.
Magran gives some of us simpler trials than others.
So yes, as the time has ticked on, we are going to rest here this evening by the fire before we head on out to find out what's further afield. But I will. Oh, it's only actually. Oh, both of them have level. I'll leave him for now, but I will level up for Fedoran. As I said, we can always respec later if it goes a bit wrong, but I don't think we can go too far wrong with a wizard. It's just a case of, I assume, picking a spell and picking a couple of traits. So, active skills. So we've got alchemy, which allows us to increase the potency and duration of any drugs, poisons and antidotes. Now this is another thing I want to quickly address here in this playthrough. I don't tend to use a lot of potions and lotions in RPGs. Don't know if you've noticed in the past, but I'm not one for sipping on things unless necessary. I kind of just overlook these kind of issues, but I'm going to try my hardest in this playthrough to really make use of potions, scrolls, to get as much of an edge as possible on the enemy. And that also includes using the bestiary a bit more. For instance, in the last session in the caves, the big golem thing that we were fighting was really weak to crush damage, for instance. So should have perhaps used the warhammer that we had in our inventory rather than the swords, because it was quite resistant to slash. So things like that, just increasing our proficiency. Perhaps maybe Fedoran's learned a thing or two in his 5 years off. If not much, at least he's read things. So active skills. So for Fedoran, if we quickly whiz down here, mechanics is something he's not going to even entertain. Explosives, he doesn't need that. Athletics, no, he's not athletic at all. Alchemy, definitely might be up his street. Arcana, certainly will be. This will be increasing the level power of our scrolls, that's quite handy. Sleight of hand, pickpocketing, not really, and stealth, again, not his cup of tea. So the only two active skills that he'll be focusing on, and we'll just kind of alternate between the two every level up, will be indeed alchemy and arcana. So we'll put one into alchemy to start with. And then we move on to the passive skills. These are mostly to do with skill checks and in conversation. Bluff. He's not bad at that. Gross exaggeration. I mean, lying, perhaps not so much, but telling a tall tale, he's definitely capable. Diplomacy also. He used a lot of diplomatic charm in the first playthrough, and maybe that will return, although he might be a bit rusty at the moment. History. He does a lot of reading, so I mean his history knowledge will also be pretty good. Insight. This involves kind of being able to read people. And again, I think this is something that he's maybe not quite so good at. He's too wrapped up in his own self to read into what people's body language is saying. So maybe not so much that. Intimidate, definitely not. Metaphysics, animancy, in between, the wheel and the mysteries of the soul. He's a watcher. So I think we're going to be putting points into that as well. The rest of them, religion, streetwise and survival, not so much. So yeah, bluff, maybe every so often. Diplomacy, history and metaphysics, I think will be the skills that we'll be putting points into with him. Might be spreading ourselves a little bit on the thin side, but we'll see what happens. But we'll start out with diplomacy, I think. You know what? No, we'll start out with a bit of bluff. Do you know what? Because we're in a new land and we're going to be coming across new people who perhaps, heavens forbid, don't quite know this man just yet. You might need to use a bit of exaggeration and stuff just to win people over. You know. So yeah, bluff. I think we're going to be bluff first. Moving on to the ability tree. So this is just picking spells, right? One active skill point, one passive, and one new ability for a wizard. And it does also include passives. So gain an additional weapon set. I'm not interested in that. These are spells that are available to us. And I'm assuming we can pick only level 1s at the moment. Okay. So what we're going to do then is we're going to pick a spell. And we're going to stick to the spells that we had in the first game as a priority to start with. Which was, of course, we had Fleet Feet. That will be returning sooner rather than later. But, of course, the staple spell that really got us out of a pickle or two in the first game was Slicken. So we'll get Slicken again right now. So there we go. New spell, 2 ability upgrades, and that's his level up done. The rest of them I'll do off camera pretty much, so you won't have to enjoy that again. But so now we're going to try out the rest feature then. So the rest feature in this game, you just rest. There's no resources required, I don't think. Or maybe you can't rest if you don't have any food. I'm not sure actually. But you can drag food to remove injuries. Oh, I see. So you drag food to remove injuries. So if you do have like 3 injuries or 4, 2 injuries, you need to get the food to remove those. So there might be a little bit of management involved in not dying, which would make sense. But anyway, Eder, it's been a long day. We've had a very, very long day. In fact, very, testing time. So we're going to allow him to sip on an ale before we get our heads down. And Fedoran, opting for the sweet syrupy liquor as a bit of a nightcap. More for roleplay purposes than, of course, the actual benefits that they give. That'll do. So, how long does rest? About 8 hours? Okay, so it's like really early in the morning. Perhaps Fedoran getting itchy feet and deciding that now is the time to actually head on out. So, leaving our shipmates behind. Did we not loot this ball? Amateurs. Absolute amateurs. Oh, yes, I know we've levelled up with the dare, chill out. Seek out a means of repairing your ship. So that's stranded. Or also hunting Aothus. Oh, so this is all very new. You'll have to bear with me as I get up to speed with some of this stuff. The Forgotten Sanctum has been installed. You will automatically begin the first quest of this adventure when you receive a visitor upon the high seas after having progressed far enough through the game. Okay, so that's fine. So here we are. Here's Villario's Rest. This is a little beach sort of cove area that we landed on, and this is the world map. Now, from memory, after my first sample of the game when I got it at Christmas 2 years ago, is that you move around the map yourself, which is quite cool, rather than just sort of teleporting from place to place like in the first game. And time also progresses when you're moving, which is also quite handy. And you can speed up the map movement as well. So let's give it a try. So right here we have some kind of a campsite, so we'll maybe have a bit of a wander. I don't know if you can be attacked on the road or not. Oh, I thought we were going to actually sort of get like loaded into a map, but no, it's just gathered some supplies. Yeah, and time goes pretty quickly when you're moving. Yeah, look at that. This is Ulanet's Fork. In the distance you see a simple wagon. The angle at which it rests on the road, one side jutting above the other, suggests that it has been damaged or disabled. Even from your vantage you can make out kith milling around it. Let's just take our time here, caution. As you near the cart, you make out a group of red Seren pilgrims in rough-spun linens and cottons. A single draft horse stamps at the ground impatiently as two of the pilgrims argue over the front right wheel, which seems hopelessly stuck in the mud. Attack them and rob them blind. No, that's not true there. Openly approach and see if there's anything we can do. One of the pilgrims notices you. Her step back draws the attention of the others, and a man in well-worn gambeson steps forward. The weight of deep concern hangs on his face. Did the dreams bring you here as well? The other pilgrims look to you with a mix of apprehension and hope. Dreams? We are farmers, come from Riadceras to work the colony fields here. We're believers, all to the one, in the light of Aothus. The other pilgrims nod fervently in agreement. A woman with a smiling baby lifts the infant's head to wave. We've been having dreams. 3 stars sailing through the sky, piercing the black of a storm cloud. Figured it must be him, Aothus, calling to us, so we came here to the place we saw in our dreams. The pilgrims look around, matching their sleeping memory to the present. We saw the giant pass with 3 stars on his brow, but he sighs and gestures to the truck stuck in the mud. Sad to say, we could not follow him. Wheel stuck as stuck gets. None of us are strong enough to lift that corner up to get something under it. More than one of us tries and we just get in each other's way. The other pilgrims nod and stretch, suddenly remembering their aching bodies. Well, we can't see these poor buggers stuck in the mud. Let me take a look. Perhaps I can assist. A brief inspection reveals that the wagon is undamaged, but the wheel is stuck fast. We have some wood, the old man says as he gestures to the back of the wagon. If we can get the wheel up, we can slide that neath it. Inside the wagon you see several planks of wood. A small box of valuables sits to the side. The game is really urging us to nick this, isn't it? One of the younger Dawnstars looks at you, eyes wide. Reckon you can lift it? Of course I can lift it. It should not be a problem for a man of my stature. Hang on. Really? Is he going to try? I think he might even well try. He's got no athletics. He's going to be doomed to failure, really. It's really doomed to ultimate failure. But I don't think he can help himself. Group of people needing some assistance. So give it a try. You square yourself to the corner of the wagon. Reach down and lift up. The wheel unsteadily rises from the mud and one of the young Dawnstars darts to get aboard underneath it. Just then, your strength fails you. What strength? The wagon's corner slips from your grasp and the wheel slams down on the misaligned board and the young man's hand with a sickening crack. As he cries out, the wheel slides off the board and even deeper into gods above. The old man kneels to tend to the boy and then looks to you. I thought you were here to help us, not hinder us further. Several of the Dawnstars glower at you and mutter to each other. 1 hour passed. I'm afraid. I feel that there's nothing we can do. It's too badly stuck. If a man, if I can't lift it, I'm afraid nobody could have lifted it. Goodbye. Obviously, common sense dictated that he should have lifted it, and he would have been able to, but Fedoran couldn't help himself. The pilgrims nod, disappointed, but thank you for your time, and bow their heads as you leave them behind. What are you doing, I dare say? I could have lifted that. Oh, it's fine. Just leave me behind. The old man calls out as you are sort of leaving away, walking away, muttering to each other. Take care of yourself and your soul, traveller. You tried your best. Whether you came for Eothas or not, we know in our hearts that he has come for us. We'd have probably got something for successfully helping them, but oh well, we'll never know thanks to Fedoran's clumsiness, and perhaps going forward he'll now see sense in future encounters. Right, we are going... We are just going, basically. So we just need to explore the island, basically. So, up or... We'll go up. I'm going to say there's up or there's right. I'll go north. Port Mage. Probably not how you pronounce it, but there you go. There's a little bit of an area here also. And you get little... that's not quite handy. And you can set your course if you're on the ship. Alright. So there's nothing kind of down here. There's a bridge that goes across this way. But seeing as we have something already explored, we'll take a quick peek. A long day travelling. Port Mage Harbour. Match Prima, mid-spring, 28-28. Last day of mid-spring. Right then, let's go for a wander. Let's quickly take a look at the map here. Zorti. The Kraken's Eye, so we've got what looks to be an inn here. A bit of a nice little port town. The Port Mage trading post, a jail, a governor's estate, and some kind of a house. Oh, and a market too. Hello, good day, says the sailor. Oh yes, good old Valian lessons I was supposed to be giving you at some point. Ado is the first, it's not actually the second word on the list of words that I was going
See what
to
that crowd's about.
cover today. What crowd? We hear some noise in the distance. And Ado is a Valian greeting.
What if the giant comes this way?
Please, everyone stay calm.
The man at the centre of attention appears to be fielding inquiries from both the gaggle of townsfolk gathered around the platform and a rather severe-looking Almaua woman standing just beside him.
Please, everyone remain calm. I assure you I will do everything in my power to get you the answers you need. Our friends among the Huana
have offered you hospitality and safety from the storms.
Yes. I think we are all keenly aware of the debt of gratitude we owe to the...
I have personally seen to the safety of your homes. Now you will do the same for our families.
What about our families?
What about the ships? How are we supposed to feed ourselves?
If everyone would...
As Clario's gaze sweeps across the crowd, it falls upon you, where it remains. A few more heads turn to see what has caught the governor's attention.
It's one of the pirates.
At this alarmed cry, the whole of the crowd turned to regard you. A startled, expectant hush falls upon the gathered throng. A pirate? I'm insulted.
Everyone stay calm. I think it's clear our guest is nothing of the sort.
Okay, so there's a reputation system in this game which I have briefly looked at but haven't kind of covered yet. Which we'll look at that in more detail later.
Two of my guards reported a ship flying deer wooden colors, fallen prey to a private vessel. That would be your ship, I assume.
The crowd quiets somewhat at that, though you still find yourself the target of a few glares.
That would make him lucky. Your own vessels do not usually fare so well.
The woman regards you with bland curiosity.
Quite.
Well, I'm just simply here for repairs, yes, and now can be on my way.
Per complanca, everyone, forgive me. I believe this matter requires my attention. You have my word that I will keep you apprised of any changes. Especially you, Mr. Ikawa.
Do not flatter me with Valian titles. You are distracted with your newcomer and wish me gone. But I will not go far, Governor Clario.
Grade. As for you, stranger, let us speak at my estate. We'll discuss your predicament.
So, a little bit of fraction here. Okay. So the governor himself has invited us to meet with him inside his estate to discuss our situation. So we'll get to doing that pretty much straight away. We don't wish to keep the man waiting, especially if he's going to help us out.
No problem.
And once we've dealt with him, we'll maybe take a look around the port, because I'm sure there are things here that may...
Oh, yes. This one is many centuries old. Blessed by Ngati herself.
Magnificent.
Yeah, there may be some things here that you might be interested in. Seems we have caught up to him. Yes, don't mind us. We have an invite.
Got it.
Come, Eder. Follow me for a change.
Yeah? What do you need?
Ah, yes, there you are. As governor and under the auspices of the Valian Trading Company, please allow me to officially welcome you to Port Marche.
Margie. Close. He spreads his hands in a subdued flourish.
Apologies for that little drama outside. These are confusing times, and people often react poorly to uncertainty. Between the storm, the pirates, and the, well, certain strange events, we are all a little on edge.
He spreads his hands in an apologetic gesture. Strange events. Wouldn't have anything to do with the big large statue walking through, would it?
A few, well, quite a few people here in Port Marche claim to have seen a giant of some kind during the storm. I would call it a flight of fancy, but unless something has tainted every well in the region, I do not think it can be ignored. But then, the Deadfire is a land full of such things. You must have heard the stories.
Now, do we come clean with what that big large statue was, or do we just ask where it went and be on our way? No, I think we'll tell him exactly what it was, and yes, see how he takes it. Telling him that it was a Yothus, not just any regular old giant. Huh? The governor mouths a voiceless "ah" of understanding, and studies you for a moment.
You'll find good company among the Dawn Stars here in town. They have all manner of theories concerning the behemoth.
Perhaps he doesn't believe us. Not shocking, really, is it? He rifles casually through a few papers.
Now, to the matter of your ship. You're stranded, are you? It was a rough landing by all reports. Unfortunately, our own ships are in no condition to sail. We've had dealings with the pirates ourselves. They've taken their share of supply ships. The storm saw to those berthed in the harbor. All that said, I believe I may have a solution, provided you're willing to help me in turn.
Okay, so he may be willing to help us, but of course, in true fashion, wants us to do something for him first. Well, as much as we were kind of itching to get our sort of titles in there, it's not going to really go down too well at the moment, we wouldn't have thought. So asking how he can help, and given that he has links to the Valian Trading Company, perhaps this may benefit us in the long run also. Expressing our happiness to assist, even if we're not completely happy to do it given our current circumstances right now.
Marvelous. You've washed ashore like a sign from the gods themselves. I have the guards on the lookout for pirate vessels looking to take advantage of whatever damage the storm caused. We've cannons enough to see them off, but I need every man ready to use them. There is a site of some considerable value elsewhere on the island. A value to the trading company, you understand. In point of fact, it's the very reason any of us are here.
Interesting.
You're familiar with the luminous Adra trade?
Yes, of course, I'm familiar with the luminous Adra trade. Supposed to house more concentrated essence, isn't it?
It's also quite valuable. When refined, it sells for considerable sums. The trading company has invested a lot of time and money into locating sites suitable for mining and processing.
When you say valuable, how valuable are we talking here?
Valuable enough to make sailing across the world seem like a sound investment. We, and I hope you understand that these matters require some discretion, have one such outpost on the other side of the island. A successful venture, up until very recently.
Oh.
We sought to improve the refinement process. To that end, we hired some of the brightest minds in the field of animancy and brought them out here to lend their expertise. And then one evening, a storm rolls in out of nowhere, and my scouts begin to report that a giant has marched its way across the island towards my dig site. What am I to make of that? We haven't heard from Mestre Odorisi since, nor any of his assistants, or the workers. I must know what has happened. If Odorisi, if his work is lost, then everything that we have worked for is at risk. Which is where you come in. You need a ship, I need information. See to this for me, and I'll set half the town to work. We'll patch up your ship, and you'll be free to go on your way.
Sounds like a reasonable deal. Just go and find out what happened to a few workers, and we get half the town working on our ship. And if I happen to find this Odorisi...
Why, take his report on the situation and remind him that he's under certain contractual obligations. And relay my deep relief at his good health, of course.
Of course, of course. Well, I don't see this as a problem. It is something I can certainly do.
Glad. Then we are agreed. I will assign men to keep watch over your ship. You will find the dig site on the eastern side of the island. I'll mark it on your map here. One more thing. If you should recover Odorisi's notes, know that they would be of great value to me.
Okay, I think he's dead personally, but you never know, do you? You never know. It might not be. Right, so we've got... this is still all part of the Stranded quest line. Reach the Engwithan dig site. So the Valiant Trading Company are on this particular island because of the luminous Adra, which is rather lucrative when refined by animancers, some of which have gone missing after Eothas' little jaunt over the island. Okay, sounds straightforward enough, but before we do that, we're going to have to explore this town, you'll understand, first. Maybe gather a supply or two.
What can I do for you?
Yeah, just asking perhaps a bit about the town, maybe some directions on where we can get our heads down if necessary. It is getting rather late now.
Certainly.
He stands up a little straighter and clears his throat.
It may not have the grandeur of Ostia or Enchense, but I am proud of what we have created here. We've established strong supply lines, and our research rivals any performed in the Republics on better days.
So the Hawana then. The Hawana are a tribal civilization of island Armawa predominantly. Though largely decentralised, the Hawana share common values steeped in the mythology and a sense of guardianship over the isles they call home. Okay, so this is like the native Armawa to the archipelago. So yeah, what do they think of your presence here?
They keep to themselves for the most part. We have little reason to interfere, and any Hawana willing to work are paid for it. We get a few of those. Perhaps village life is too simple for them. They say things are very different under Queen Onekaza II. She has unified many of the Hawana under her banner. Ikawa is one of the last holdouts. It works fine for our purposes. She is easier to negotiate with.
So the outpost here in the first place is obviously because of the Adra, I'm assuming, but just perhaps seeking confirmation.
Scouts reported finding Ingwithan ruins, along with a promising Adra vein. And the locals were welcoming enough. Any venture of this size is difficult. Even so, the hard part was not convincing people to join us, but weeding out undesirable individuals. We lowered our standards in the end.
Okay, so the many outposts here in the Deadfire. Just in case we happen to get our ship working, we might want to stop off.
Out there, you'll find yourself a rarity. It is an interesting feeling. The lands here belong to the Hawana, for now. If you ask the Royal Deadfire Company, that will not last.
So this is the trading company owned by the Roatayan government. Bit of competition to the Valian trading company, perhaps?
Dispatched by the Ranganui of Rauatai himself. That would be their emperor, or king, perhaps.
Interesting.
If you have any questions at all, really, at your pleasure. Yes? Something you need?
Okay, so nothing too much to tell us about the directions then. Never mind. We'll see for ourselves. Thank you for your time, Governor. We shall be back with news soon enough. Now, who is this person? Just sparking up his pipe in the Governor's office. In your mind today, do that outside, will you? I don't want to create a bad impression here. So it's still raining. It's rather early in the morning. So what we'll quickly do is we'll just have a bit of a jaunt around the perimeter of the building, and then we'll go and find our way to the inn where we'll see what's going on there.
Leave it to me.
Maybe get a bit of a sort of late rest. And then in the morning we can explore this town properly. Well, town. Port village, really. What's that? Ah, now this is familiar music. Sounds like the music that used to play in Gilded Vale to me.
It's not right. I came here on the first ship. Why does an islander get paid the same as I?
They're bigger than you, and they haul cargo without whining.
Ooh. Now isn't this some rather upbeat tavern music? Nice.
Got it.
Nice roaring fire. The cook there. It's a rather big rug to boot. Interesting sculpture on the wall. Very busy. Let's speak with the...
we haven't any rooms for you.
Oh, no rooms? The rather large man behind the counter glances your way, smiling grimly.
Guessing you're the one came in off that shipwreck down south. Not sure if that's good luck or bad, but here, I figure you deserve a drink.
Oh, how very kind of you. But, you seem to, correct me if I have misheard you. You seem to suggest there's no rooms available.
We're full up. You aren't the first outsider to turn up looking for a place to stay after their ride off the island ended up at the bottom of the sea. Well, tell you what. I've got one room ought to have been cleared out by now. Only the occupants decided to outstay his welcome. Real trouble is, he hasn't settled his bill. He's a merchant captain by the name of Galleon. I've given him a fair chance, but he's been a right prick about the whole thing. I've got a spare key here. You chase him and his pals off, and the room's yours. At a discount.
Okay, so we've got the Kraken's Eye room key. Him and his pals. That doesn't sound like we're overly pleasing to Fedoran. If it was just him on his own, maybe we might have been able to do something. But maybe we can use our silver tongue, though. I'll see what I can do.
I appreciate it, truly. I'll have someone tidy the place up for you once you're through. Chances are they've spilled ale just about everywhere.
How lovely.
I don't want the man dead, and that's not what I'm paying for. Just see him on his way and we'll call it done.
Ah, well, that's a bit more promising. Right, okay, so to end the session then, either on a good note or, more than likely, a bad note, let's go see if we can
Who's getting antsy?
negotiate ourselves a discounted room. Ah, and here it is. Okay, well, before we do, let's just maybe...
How does it work? You inhale. It isn't complicated.
A few drunks. Oh, somebody here in a room.
Maybe I was wrong.
Ah, a new face. You've heard, of course, that Norgund remains the most reliable and discreet supplier of mostly legitimate wares.
Ah.
Are you looking for something in particular?
Mostly legitimate?
I am an honest merchant, sir. But I confess that the tools I supply have an unjustly sinister reputation. How my clients decide to use these items is not my responsibility, after all.
Well, let's take a look, shall we? Inns. So it's got to be the same as the first game, isn't it? Pretty much. And we can create our own adventures again, just like the first game. We may be creating a couple. Okay, so what has he got? And this is where we can respec our characters also. Discount on items, 0%. How does that work, I wonder? Maybe disposition? So he's got lockpicks, he's got spices. Thief's Putty, 575. One thing I'm getting already is that the prices in this game are a little bit inflated when compared to the first game. I'm thinking money is a little bit sort of higher. Because 440 in the first game wouldn't have been too shabby of an amount. So we've got a variety of different things: bombs, venoms, Thief's Putty, mouth char. What the hell is that? Some sort of chewing tobacco type thing? Oh no, don't buy it. Just want to see what it is. Powerful burning sensation. Oh my god, sounds horrific. Yeah, it's all that kind of thievy type of stuff. But it's worth noting. Okay, so this unlocks with the Kraken's Eye room key, as does this. So which one is it? Is there more than one?
Got it.
Let's go for the smaller room first, because I think this is the wrong one.
Sure.
Yeah, that's... sorry to... so sorry.
Yeah.
Don't think we can close the door. No, can't close it. Okay. Let's quick save this.
Why not?
Oh boy. What did we put our first point in? Oh, we put our first point into bluff.
No
Let's see how
problem.
this goes.
Remember ordering more drinks?
Galian.
Hey.
Asking Eder just to step a little bit further forward, if you wouldn't mind, and we'll sort of perhaps talk from the distance.
What do you need?
True Fedoran fashion. Near to the exit.
Thought I'd locked that thing.
The glassy-eyed gentleman before you bears a miserable expression of the recently sober. He also smells like he's been pickling in a cask for a few days.
You've got the wrong room. I know you company men like to wander in and plant the flag anywhere you please, but kindly wander back out again.
He makes a mocking sweep of an arm and nearly unbalances himself.
Try not to slam the door on your way out, yeah? My head's going to pieces.
Yes, well, I am here because, fortunately, the innkeep downstairs he kind of wants you to leave.
Does he now? And what are you supposed to do about it?
I'm asking, politely. It's as simple as that, really. If that's gonna work.
You're trying to kick us out. Nothing polite about that.
There must be other taverns here. I mean, look at this place. It's a bit run down, surely. You can find something a bit more befitting of your station, perhaps.
You might have noticed, but the town's a little crowded. We're not the only ones whose ship got smashed to pieces. My peregrine down at the bottom of the harbor. May she rest.
Well, perhaps you just pay what you owe and nothing else needs to be said about it.
Of course I can. I'm just in a spot of trouble at the moment. We came here to trade, and then our fortunes sank to the bottom of the harbor along with my ship. What am I supposed to do?
It's a very similar situation.
Thorol's got a heart of stone, he has. A man loses everything, and he can't even drown his sorrows for a while. These are external.
Extenuating.
Difficult circumspects for all of us.
Well, perhaps if you clean yourself up and ask around the docks, maybe somebody could give you some work. He looks down at himself and then out at the foul bedding and the sticky carpets. His shoulders slump.
Well, maybe we did lose our heads a little.
Yes, that's the spirit, you see. It's no point mulling here and, getting yourselves down in the dumps. Walk out with a head held high and a spring in your step. I'm sure your fortunes will change.
Are you serious? You're going to let him kick us out of our own room?
Think of it as a blessing, my dear. It's the impetus you need to turn a new leaf.
Come on, you lot. The crew of the Peregrine sails for brighter shores.
He heads out at a wobbling limp. Well, bloody hellfire. He's only gone and done it. His first bit of persuasion, and he's managed to convince a drunken captain that he's overstayed his welcome. Not bad. Not bad at all. Right, well, perhaps coughing and gagging a slight bit as they all walk past, the stench and whatnot been overpowering. Perhaps we need this room cleaned, deep cleaned, before we get our heads down in. But it's nice to know that we now have a room here for us to stay at a discounted rate. How very useful.
Sure.
Fedoran just sort of ambling up, looking rather pleased with himself.
Yeah. Still kicking, eh? What'll it be?
Well, I'm just here to tell you that I have cleared out that room. Don't know if you've noticed them all leaving.
Hey, good work. Times like these, I can't afford to keep on anyone who can't pay their tab. The second word got around, I'd have every pauper in the city on my doorstep. The room's yours if you want it, and for a job well done, here's your pay.
He sets a damp leather coin pouch on the counter. 1,200 coppers. And a discounted room. Nice.
Still kicking, eh? What'll it be?
So... yeah, a bit of small talk before we retire for the night. Why is this place called the Kraken's Eye, out of interest?
What else? It was the glory of my fighting years. The beast pulled nearly 7 full crews into its belly before it was brought down. I was at the helm that day, and for that, my captain gifted me one of the beast's eyes.
His eyes glitter with pride as he points to the wall just to the right of the counter. This rather ghastly sculpture stuck to the wall.
My proudest moment and my dearest treasure. I would not part with it for all the world.
Oh yes, very nice. And yeah, again asking for the word on the street, perhaps.
Guess you haven't exactly seen the prettier side of the place since you landed, right? It's the only town on the island, if you don't count Salahuzi, little Juana village out west. Really is a decent place most days. Good trade, and plenty of money rolling in from Claudio's investors. Damn sight quieter than back home. But I don't have to tell you about the Deerwood. Ain't right doing business sober. I could fix that for you.
Alright, I'm asking for any potential work. Bit of coin in our pocket for an experienced archmage like Fedoran. Surely no task too small.
Folks come by here all the time hunting for work. Let's see who we can scrounge up.
Oh, that's just the way to import adventurers. Very bizarre. Okay, fine. So we've got the stores. Variety of different ales. Midnight mead. Oh, that sounds rather exotic. The signature beverage of the Kraken's Eye. Ooh, black as pitch. Tastes faintly of sea air and salt water. Contains Kraken's ink, allegedly. 255 though. But I might have to get a couple of those just to sample them. Some porridge, rice, other foodstuffs, and an egg. Bit of breakfast in the morning. Skipper's stay. Costs only 43 with the 15% discount. Gives us a few buffs as well. And party management. Well, it's been a long day. Skipper's stay sounds good. And Fedoran has leveled up again, and Eder's probably got 2 levels to go as well. So, I shall do that before the next session. So join me next time as we will explore the port properly and see what further trouble, because no doubt there will be some, Fedoran gets himself into. Until then, see you soon.